Hey,
We are excellent. We're ready to kick down some doors. So let's do
my
this.
boots.
At which point did she say that? That's important.
right.
I would have guessed that. I would have guessed that.
Oh, I like questions about what I put in my mouth.
Oh my God.
Can I go for it? I had one today for lunch. You said
This girl kisses and tells. Can we do another story?
Okay, I happen to be vegetarian, but I love Reubens. So for me, a Reuben is anything with sauerkraut and some kind of Russian dressing. So since I don't eat like pastrami or corned beef, like the classic Reuben, I put anything as a base. Today, I had some tofu, which is pretty bland. And I just put tofu on some beautiful bread with this homemade Russian dressing with like cornichon pickles and this beautiful veganese and a little ketchup. And then I just put on a ton of sauerkraut on top of it. I didn't even have the cheese. So that a Reuben is my favorite sandwich.
I'm going to go with the curry chicken salad sandwich on sourdough bread with some crispy lettuce and mayonnaise.
Mm.
Girl is a foodie. Trust me. Oh my God. Are you a hellbender? Then you're going to want to be careful. Sushi pine cones might not soothe the gullet.
And the little seeds stick in your teeth. I wouldn't recommend it.
The second part, we walked around, everybody gathered a whole bunch of stuff, we brought it back, and believe it or not, it took many hours to nail that one shot of that plate because we kept re-putting stuff down and being like, that doesn't work with a pine cone. This green algae works good here. And it took a little while, and finally we got a shot that looks like the cover of Gourmet magazine. Thank you.
I'd love to dig our roots deeper into that for sure. I think it's something we didn't set out to make a folk horror film, but it's something that we definitely learned about once our machine was once those cogs were moving, we thought, oh, this is kind of what we're doing. And it helped inspire us to go further with things like you were talking about, like with the pine cones, with the nature theme. The nature played a huge role in the film for sure.
Yeah, and it's a great question that you asked because actually, because of Hellbender, and we've been on the festival circuit, and we've watched a lot of folklore, and we talk about folklore a lot. But we see a lot of other movies, and we've become very interested in body horror as kind of the next genre of horror that we want to tackle, and it's so I think we want to explore that. We are exploring that in our next movie called When the Devil Roams. So we love folk horror and it's very cool. And we could do another folk horror movie, but right now we're actually concentrating on body horror movie. Yeah. We're so excited and it's so fun to work on like organic visual horror. It's a mix. We work with a wonderful family member now named Trey Lindsey. And he did the Deeper You Dig with us and he's done Hellbender with us. So anytime we want to have any kind of extra like visual that we talk to him about, can we do this organically and film it, or is it best to have a mix of organics and digital like touch-ups? And he always tries to shoot for let's do it real. And if it's impossible because of budget or just because it's impossible to saw somebody's head off, well, it's not impossible, but you don't want to do it because you can't make any more movies if you do that. So we talk to him and then we strategize like what the mix is going to be, how much we can shoot in reality and how much we have to add in with his digital wizardry.
Yes, we live in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York, and we're really surrounded by nature. We live on a little road that often is half eaten out by the river as the river floods. We're just surrounded by wildlife, living and dead. Coyotes howl at night, which is a wonderful sound when you get to hear that. Deer, are everywhere. Bears.
We've camped all our lives. We love going in for 3 to 5 days, with some food and coming out later, even more alive. We've always loved camping as a family.
And we're really drawn to shooting outside. We don't have special equipment, so nature is our dear friend.
Yeah, and we basically don't ever use fake lighting. So obviously the best place to shoot is outdoors. It's very hard for us to shoot indoors because we don't want to get all involved with fake lights. So we choose as often as possible to shoot outside. And if we can't shoot outside, we definitely shoot near a window. We have if we have a construction light, so like one of those little metal construction lights. So I think there's a couple things where we use a construction light.
And there's a lantern, like in the final scene. It's just a lantern.
Yeah, that's just a lantern, right? Yeah.
That's all natural.
Yeah,
that's
all natural. And that's the thing is we actually had to we had to shoot in the attic before 10 o'clock because the sun rose over on that side. So you can't shoot that scene after 10 o'clock because then the sun isn't like bouncing off the roof and into the room. So it's great that you mentioned that because we know exactly when you can film in that attic. Thank you.
I love that question. I mean, since John's the editor, he's going to have a lot to say about that technically. But I will say, I think humor and horror go along. They're just perfect bedmates. I mean, one of the reasons I love horror is because when I'm most scared, I laugh, and same thing growing up with kids. Listen, as a kid, listen to scary stories. You're being at a sleepaway camp. When you get really creeped out, you just start cracking up. I mean, humor and horror, one alleviates the other. I mean, one enhances the other. They're the best bedmates.
Yeah, I agree that horror and humor are just, I don't know, one teardrop away from each other. And so, yes, we love it. If you're laughing, then we're laughing together and we're very happy. So when we go to festivals and we sit in an audience and watch our movie with other people and they don't laugh at things that we think are so funny, it can be a little frightening because you're like, oh my God, I think that they probably think we're like completely insane because like, for example, the rolling in the snow scene is hilarious. It's over the top hilarious. But if someone's looking at it being like looks at you like, ew, like you're psychotic. Well, they're right, I guess, because it's funny. But then that means that you are psychotic too. Not to accuse you of anything.
I do feel like there's an ambient comfort and ease with each other, but I also feel like we're also just Zelda and I are very loyal to the storyline, and so whether we were related or not, I think even if this was someone else's film, I think I would love that character just as much. So I think we're at ease with each other because we just we eat, sleep, and breathe often together every day. But no, I always tend to feel like no, we're just honoring the storyline, and since we wear every hat, we're very loyal to the storyline and we know the story so well.
Great question. And my answer is that there's not a big separation between our filmmaking family and our sitting eating dinner family, or our soccer family, or let's go work on music family, or let's do nothing together family. We're really good friends. It's not work so much as like we all want to accomplish something together. So it's not, I don't think of it. I mean, sometimes there might be a little bit of stress, but it's not like the kind of stress of like somebody's getting up and going to work stress. It's more artistic stress because you want to succeed. And I think I feel like, and I'm only going to speak for myself, we're all in the same canoe together. And it's a canoe that we all got in and grabbed a paddle.
Yeah, there really is almost no delineation. We just constantly are living and making art in symbiosis. And it's not only kind of beautiful, but it's also convenient. I'll be honest, it's just incredibly convenient when you're sitting down eating a sandwich with your kid and talking about a film, and then 30 minutes later, you can be out there shooting it.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like Zelda is now getting kind of hired to shoot videos on her own now. And it's fun because like she's in New York City, she's working, she's 18, and she's calling me as a friend and as an art partner being like, hey, I got to do this for this client. Could you just, what do you think? And we're just talking as friends. And that's the way it's been since she was like 6 years old. And so it's just the way it is.
Let me just say real fast, this morning, John and I were so deep into our next film that this morning I was hardly awake and John said, okay, I got an idea and this is what I think. And my brain just could not fathom it. I half awake. And I was like, what? And he said, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I said, no, I didn't. I just need to give me a minute to process this. That's just, we literally eat, sleep, and breathe our films.
Because I woke up at 5 a.m. with a breakthrough moment. And I was like, looking at the clock, okay, I really can't like nudge her until 7. And so at 7, I'm like, sorry, did I wake you? Oh, without a doubt. If this becomes a job, I think we'll all quit. Hellbender's the 4 of us. We've always loved music. I was in party punk bands up until into my 30s, and the kids love music. So again, we travel a lot together. So everybody's a DJ. Everybody's like, you got to listen to this. It's great being friends with your kids because they introduce you to stuff that your generation has no clue about. And they introduce it very enthusiastically. So you listen to it and it keeps your ears young. And so everybody has an influence in our band. We talk about what we like. So right now, like Hellbender, the band is really coming into its own because the girls, their influence has become much more powerful, and I love their influence. So so the sound is really coming together as a concrete thing. I think even in the movie Hellbender, the music is just about through the hourglass. It still, though, has multi-influences. In a way, it's a little bit disparate, like, because there's some mellow stuff, there's some super hardcore stuff, there's some techno stuff. But I love the music in Hellbender, and that basically, it's kind of like us all coming together as writers.
Oh yeah, I think music is incredibly important to us as visual art makers. For instance, in Hellbender, music is not only is it fun and cool, but it's another device for moving the story along. I always consider the songs as a kind of spell casting these two people up on their lonely mountain. That the music is a kind of a form of magic for them, but it's also where the songs come and the nature of the songs. They get a little more aggressive as the movie progresses. It tells a lot about the story and the lyrics themselves. If people want to listen to the lyrics.
Yeah, we find music is a great way to drive storyline without taking up too much time and boring the hell out of people. So in a minute and a half, you can basically tell 10 minutes of dialogue so that everyone's not like, oh my God, I'm tired of these two talking heads, I personally think I notice that the horror fans love rebellious music, and horror itself is rebellious. And so the two go hand in hand because punks, we're all punks. We're all metalheads. We're all, dark emo lovers. It's like, but it's never like, it's not really like the candy, like it's not candy pop. It's always something outside of the norm. So I think that's really what it is. That's what's really fun about the horror community is they're a bunch of punks, and they like rebellious movies that the general society is like, ew. And we love it. And it's the same with the music. Like, why are you listening to that crap? Because you're not.
I also think that music, in the same sense as smell, it makes people respond on a very visceral level. Like if you think of when you smell popcorn or cotton candy, it brings you back to being a child in an amusement park. When you listen to music, you can remember exactly what car you first heard it in when you were 16 years old. And I think horror has a similar way of making you just respond very viscerally. That is all John.
Oh, thanks, Toby. Yeah, I love doing sound design. It is so fun and it tells a story. And I think what's really interesting is I like to edit and do sound design kind of at the same time because the two are such important storytellers. And so it's great to put up the visuals and then drop different sound designs under it so I can see the feeling and which feelings work. And then that helps me decide, okay, how is this scene going to edit out? So the two go hand in hand. They're lovers and they're great to watch dance together. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, it was. I mean, we love men, and they're one of the four of us in the family happens to identify as a man. But we wanted to be this, have this be a film without the male gaze whatsoever. Not only that, but also actually, if you think about it, the only person who has an actual name, the only two people who have names, actually four people in the film who have names, are the young people. There's Izzy, there's Amber, who's played by her older daughter Lulu, and then there are Amber's two friends, Ingrid and AJ. And in a sense, men and older people in the film are outsiders. It's almost as if they've lost something, and these young people have something, have a little more powerful, and it's something the mother has wandered away from. So I think in a similar sense, there are some things we just wanted to remove from the equation, and men were one of them.
Well,
Thank
thank you. I
you.
mean, it means so
Thank you,
much to
Dan.
us. And you watch so much stuff, and so that means a lot to us. Yeah, we love being parents. Um, and being parents and growing up with your kids, you see other parents too. And you get to learn from them, learn what to do, what not to do. Then you have your own parents. But I mean, one of the things we set out to do with this movie is we were a huge soccer family. Like Zelda was very into soccer. So we would go to soccer games and then we'd talk movies on the way home, or we'd shoot when we got home or whatever. But on the sidelines, it was really one of the things we always find very interesting. So we've always been very honest with our kids about our past, and that includes drugs, mistakes, things. We're just honest because it's a lot easier just to be honest than to figure out your lies. And so, but what's funny is when you're standing on the sidelines and a parent who is sipping water filled with gin and talking about that they can't believe that their kid is vaping, and you're like, it's kind of, so we wanted to kind of touch on that in not a super judgmental way, because we understand that, but in a fun way. And in a sense, the mother in Hellbender is that person on the sidelines sipping gin out of the water cup, because she's still dabbling in her magic, still, taking advantage of it. She has all the knowledge and she's not telling the truth to her child, and in the guise of protection. And maybe she is protecting the kid, but maybe she's not. And that's what's fun about the movie, is that the audience gets to ask themselves, I'm not really sure who's right here and who's wrong. And I think the answer is quite complicated.
Yeah, I think we're all about the features. Yep. Yeah, we're working on our next feature, When the Devil Roams. And we're always, conjuring up ideas for new features.
Sometimes thinking about making a short is terrifying because you have to be super smart and intelligent and quick to make a short. I think we're a little slower than that. so we need a little time to figure this out.
I think it's terribly exciting. I don't think fear has even entered the picture for me. It's exciting. Well, first of all, Shudder has such a great community of watchers, so I feel very both welcomed and comforted by them. Because I think most of the people who watch Shudder are really interested. They're just intelligent. It's an intelligent community, and I think that they're going to embrace the film in a way that I feel good about. And I'm pretty good with criticism anyway. I'm all for it. But as far as Shutter goes, I feel nothing but the confidence that is the perfect home for it.
Yeah, and they've been really wonderful to us. So they have any fears we've had, they've alleviated. They're just a great company that talks to us like what we are, which is just a small family. So that's really cool. And on the fear front, about fear of eyes on your product, I think it feels really great that people are going to watch our art. But we have been beat up already. Like, we've made 7 movies, and trust us, we have got our ass kicked sometimes. So it's kind of like, once you've got your ass kicked a lot, it's like,
which eye?
Yeah, which one y'all hit me? Exactly. Which eye do you want to hit? It's kind of like, so now it's just fun. And plus, by talking with people like you who say, hey, I like it. I like your movie. It's like, it's encouraging. And like, if we can turn you on to our movie, then that's encouraging. And if 10 people want to kick our ass, well, we got one person that we are now friends with. And that's pretty good odds.
It's so true. I mean, it's good padding for those who don't like the film. And I respect that. Also, I feel like if you're going to make a film, you have to put yourself out there in a way that is risky enough to have some people who don't like your film. I think if 100% of people like your film, maybe it's a little too safe. I'm remembering Rube Goldberg now because when our daughters were in 5th grade in Topanga Canyon, California, they had to make a Rube Goldberg machine. It was so, can't believe I forgot about that. It was so cool. Okay, I know. I'm going to make a sandwich making one. To bring it back full circle to the sandwich, I want a machine that bakes the bread, slices the bread, slaps it down in 2 different spheres, spreads my lovely, shreds the coleslaw, shreds the cabbage, ferments it in a big bottle of bubbly blah, 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 blah. You could see the smell wafting off of it, and then makes the Russian dressing, cuts the pickles, puts it, slaps it all together, and then delivers it right to my big gaping mouth.
Oh my God, you brought up food. I should have emailed you before this interview and said, please don't bring up food.
You're so right. I want to hear yours too, but you go ahead.
You tell us yours. Wow.
Oh,
I like
that
that.
is Dinah. That's a sweet
I think that
story.
wins. But I don't know. The two of yours is pretty good. See, I can't compete with these two ones. I would just have a machine that fluffs my pillow at night, and it would be very, it'd be full of contraptions and a big metal machine that had the softest touch by the end of all of its little mechanisms, and it fluffed my pillow because I keep having to wake up in the middle of the night because I got to fluff my pillow. So that's what I need. I need a big metal robotic pillow fluffing machine.
And one that could like snuff out my snores.
No, I like your snores. I don't want those snuffed out. That's a horror movie. When the devil snores. That's the one. We'll do that after When the Devil Roams. We're like 70% done shooting because we noticed we made a movie called The Deeper You Dig. And we shot that mostly in the winter, and we fell in love with the cinematography of the Catskills in the winter. And Zelda was like, hey, she came up with the idea actually, and she was like, and we should shoot this in the winter because The Deeper You Dig looks so beautiful. And so we did. We wrote it, and we're like about 70% done shooting it. And this winter has been exceptionally cold. And it actually, that cold looks, I know this sounds weird, but it looked fantastic on film. It's just incredible. Well, we've missed, like, the snow actually has, like, we've been in the band that hasn't been getting the snow, but it's been getting, like, it's been 10 below zero for 2 months. So it's so damn cold, but it looks great on your breath. And like when you're talking, like all of our talking, you can see our breath, and like everything's frozen and there's a stillness. And when you're out acting in the cold, you get down to business really fast because you're so damn cold. You want to get that right and get the hell out of there. So it's really great. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Shutter's running the show on that, and there's going to be a physical release, and it's going to have like extras on it, and like cool behind the scenes stuff and some bloopers. And there's also an actual vinyl album coming out with all the songs that hit the floor, because you can't put. We wrote about 24 songs for this film, and I think there's 9 actually in the film, and so all those films that hit the floor are also going to be on this vinyl album that's being put out by a company called Ship to Shore that specializes in this kind of thing. So that's exciting too. We've never we've never had a vinyl album. I mean, that's so great. We can nail that to the wall. Yeah,
It's going to be part of the Rube Goldberg machine.
Yes. To fluff my pillow.